because you want to know those. They're getting harder now. So here we go. So today's plan is 4.5, 4.6, 4.7. Wow. Okay. And so that's all the way. We're going to do hard trinomials. And yeah, we're going to do a lot of stuff. Okay. So, and then double doubles and triple triples. Okay. So factor that. So let me write it a little bigger. 3a squared plus 14a plus 8. Okay, what's the first question on every factoring problem? The first thing you should ask yourself. GCF, yeah. What's in common to all of them, huh? Usually the answer is nothing, so it's easy to get out of that habit, but if you miss it, it'll mess everything else up. So look for it. Do those three all have something in common? No, they don't, huh? They don't all have an A. The last one doesn't have 8, has no letters at all. And there's no number that goes into 3, 14, and 8. So anyway, nothing there. So I'm skipping the one big Princey step, going right to the 2. Right? There's no GCF step. Go right to the 2. So remember how it works? FOIL, you could do the diamond method if you like that, or whatever method you like. Make sure it's something that you are really good at. If you're not comfortable with anything, then just do my method. There's a bunch of, mine's not any better than any other. There's a bunch of good ones out there. So, all right. So front times front to be 3a squared. That's what FOIL stands for. First, outer, inner, last. So we go the front in this Princey times the front in that Princey. That's what we're looking at, right? There's two things in each Princey, right? There's a front and a last, a front and a last. So the front of this Princey times the front of that Princey has to make 3a squared. How can that be? Well, 3a and plain A. Or vice versa. The order on the first two doesn't matter, but the order on the back two will. Good so far? Front times front. Now, jump over here to the L. Save the middle for later. Jump over here to the L. Last, that means last one in this Princey times last one in that Princey to make 8. Last times last makes 8. What times what makes 8? Well, there's a couple of ways. It could be 2 times 4, or it could be 1 times 8. Which pair should I try first? Remember, did we talk about you want to do the pair that's closest together first? It's usually that pair. Not always, but 90% of the time. So when there's options, see 2 and 4 are only 2 apart from each other, whereas 1 and 8 are 7 apart. They're further apart. So it's usually, I just know the way they write these problems, the way they do this. It's usually the pair of numbers closer together, like 2 and 4. So that's the way the people that solve these problems and write these problems pick them. So it's 2 and 4 probably. Now, which order? Because it matters. It's not this order. I always do it wrong on purpose at first to show you how you would correct that. It's actually the other order. But watch me correct it. So I put it down there, 4 and 2. And how do we check? No signs yet. Remember, we save the signs till we're looking at the middle. Because the middle tells us the sign story, the plus-minus story, right? Okay, so how do we know if this is right? We got to check the middle now, don't we? Which is the OI, which means the 2 outer and the 2 inner. So the 2 inner, 4 times A, just 4A. The 2 outer, 3A times 2, 6A. Can they make the middle? What's the middle? Plus 14A. Can 6 and 4 make 14? No way. So then when it doesn't work, when there's no way to make the middle right, 4 and 6 don't make 14, you go back up and you switch the order on the back two. That's the first thing you try to fix the problem. You switch them. So put the 2 here and the 4 there and try the middle stuff again. So now the 2 inner make 2A, and now it's 3 times 4, 12A. Now can 2 and 12? Yeah, sure. Both positive. They make 14. It's perfect. So both positive and we're done. This is our answer right here. All the rest of the stuff is just the checking to make sure it's really the right answer. Are we good there? Is that you okay with all those little arcs and all the little things I'm doing up there? Questions I can answer? So it's all about FOIL and just making the front times the front be the front, and the last times the last be the last, and then the 2 inner, 2 outer, making the middle. FOIL. Basically, I just foiled it without foiling it. I mean, it's nothing, my little method's not magic. It's basically, you know what I mean? Is that making any sense? I want you to see it's, all we're really doing is exactly what you would do if you multiplied it out. You don't have to write this, but let me show you. Right, if I was to FOIL this out, I would just go like that, right? First to both, and that what's 3a times 3a. See what I'm doing? Front times front, right? 3a squared, that was f. you know, in the FOIL word. And then 3a times 4, 12a. That's O. That's the 2 outer, see? And now the 2 goes to both. 2a and 2 times 4, 8. That was the inner and the last. And see how they make 14a in the middle, which is right? So that's all this is really doing, is just doing FOIL without doing FOIL. Just a way to check that it'll really FOIL correctly. So if you want to just do this instead, fine. You know, just take a guess and FOIL it out. And if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, try something else. You know, that's all I'm basically doing. I'm just tinkering until it works.
Really, like for 4, the outside number, it was supposed to add to that, but we multiplied it to get to the middle. But this time we're doing adding to get to the middle. And multiplying.
Good question. Yeah, everything up there is multiplying, right? The 8 comes from multiplying. Everything up there is multiplying with one exception. The middle 14 at the very end is the only thing that we add. So these two, and that's because there's two things. There's an O and an I. So the only time we add or subtract, with negative it'll be subtract, is at the very, very end to get the middle right. Everything else is multiply throughout the entire process. Yeah, good question. Does that make sense? We'll try another one. We're going to need to reorganize it. Okay, so 2 plus 9r minus 35r squared. So first reorder. You know, we want it highest power to lowest, huh? So remember what happens when we move things around? The sign in front of them, that's their baby, takes it with them, right? So that negative on the 35r squared, that's going to go with it wherever it goes. We good to there? So that negative goes with the 35r squared wherever it goes. Now, that's a pain because, well, next question, what's in common to all the terms? Nothing, right? There's no number or anything, but when there's a negative, remember what we've learned? When there's a negative in front, you got to do the -1 with the big parenthesis and all signs switch. Remember that kind of thing? So you have to do that. Even though there's nothing in common, there is that minus. So you got to put the -1, the one big parenthesis, and all the signs will switch. Because we don't want that front to be negative. It's just too hard to deal with. Like that. Is that okay? Let me see where I'm going. See how all the signs switched? See how it's really the same? You know, rather than me just telling you little rules, I hope you see that I'm just doing what's true. Because minus times, if you multiplied these back, see how he would go right back to here? It's not really any different. It's just a different way to write it, a way that'll be easier for us. Why is this easier? Because then we don't have any minuses on the 35. It's just, you don't want a minus on your front one. It's just too much of a pain. So we got that off the front, so now it'll be easier to deal with. That's all we're doing. So now, can you do the FOIL from there? Now just do the regular FOIL thing. FOIL. Leave the -1 in the front. The -1 will be in the front as the final answer. Go ahead and do your 2 parentheses now with the front times front. Use your calculator if you're rusty on some of those times tables. You, of course, can have your calculator on the test. Okay, so what times what is 35? 7 and 5, right? It could be 35 and 1, but probably not. Almost for sure, no way. It's 5 and 7. Either order, you put 5, 7, 7, 5. Remember, the order in the first two doesn't matter. It's the order on the back two that'll make a big difference, because then somebody will be with the 7 and somebody will be with the 5, and that'll make a difference. So that's the front two. Now the last. Multiply, right? I'm not going to put 1, 1, because you think, well, 1 and 1 is 2. No. 1 and 1 don't multiply to be 2. Remember, it's all multiply. Everything's multiply until the very last step when we add. Everything else is multiply up to the very last step. So I'm thinking what multiplies to be 2. And again, don't worry about the negative. We'll do the signs later. It's too much to worry about all of it at once. Don't worry about -2. Just think 2. What times what is 2? Well, 1 times 2. There's really no other options, right? 1 times 2. So I'll put the 2 here and the 1 there because that's wrong. And I want to show you that it's wrong. It's actually the other order. The 2 needs to be in the parentheses with a 5, it turns out, but we'll see.
So is it
Yeah.
Is it like on the last problem? Is it the lower number always goes on the left?
No, there's no rule like that. Yeah, it could do any different combination. You just got to try them out. Good so far. Now, I got to check the middle. The OI in the middle. So that means the 2 inner, the 2 outer, doesn't it? The 2 inner is 10R, the 2 outer is 7R, and they're supposed to make the middle. Grab the middle and bring it down here. With his sign, now I care about signs all of a sudden. Right? The middle is when I start caring about signs. -9. What is that? A 10 and a 7 make -9. No way. No way. So what do? Switch the order on the back 2. Switch the order on the back 2. So, and that'll change the middle stuff, right? So this, what was it? This will be I'm confused. Okay, 2 here, 1 there, right, okay. And then boom and boom, 5R, and then this is 14R. Everybody good so far, right? The 2 inner make 5, 1 times 5, and 7 times 2 makes 14R. That's all multiply. I haven't added anything. It's all been multiply up to now, hasn't it? All multiply. 1 times 5, 7 times 2, 14. Now, at the very last step with the middle, you think about adding, subtracting, and you think about pluses and minuses. Right? I haven't even thought about plus or minus up to now. So now, how can a 5 and a 14 make -9? Can they? Yeah, they sure can. Right? Remember, whatever sign is in the middle always goes on the bigger. 14's the bigger, right? So the minus in the middle has to be taken by the bigger. So plus 5 minus 14, yeah, that's -9. You check it on your calculator if you're not sure. That is right. That's -9. It's working, isn't it? So now, remember, the sign that's on the top always goes straight out, because they got to get them back in the parentheses somehow. How do you know which place they go? Well, the sign on the top always goes to the parentheses on the left. It always goes there. That'll always be true. And the one on the bottom goes to the back. Bottom, back, BB, bottom, back. Done. Now, you could switch it. You got to have -1 in the front. But you could have the 5R minus 2 coming first, and then the 7R plus 1. That's fine. That's the same answer. You can always move the entire parenthesis, but the 5R has to be with the -2 wherever he's at, and the 7R has to be with the +1 wherever he's at. Either one is good. Does that make sense? Oops, I'm erasing everything, meaning to underline. Questions on that? Good. So, minus in the front. Got to factor it out, and all the signs change, and the rest is kind of the same. All right. Okay, so 18 c to the third minus 39 c squared plus 20c. Try that one. What's the first step on that one? Good. What's in common? C, huh? Did you guys do that first? That's a good thing to do. Take out that C. Always do that first, and that's the one big parenthesis. There's no number, is there, that goes into all those. So just take out the C. The one big parenthesis step always goes first if there's something in common. Then go to the 2. So next, you'll leave that C in the front. Now you'll go to the 2 parentheses, right? This will be the FOIL. Those are big numbers. Use your calculator. 18. So the first one's 18. What are you using? What times what's 18? Yeah, 6 and 3 is a better guess than 2. Now, it might be 2 and 9. It might be 1 and 18. I don't think so. It's probably 6 and 3. It might be 2 and 9, though. I don't know. So I'll go with 6 and 3. 6C, 3C. Right, for the 18, could be any of those combinations. Try the pair closest together first. That's usually the pair they choose. All right, and then last times last is 20. What times what is 20? Well, 5 and 4 probably. I mean, it could be 2 and 10, could be 1 and 20, but probably 4 times 5, right? That's how the people who make these problems usually make them. So 4 times 5. Now, which order? Well, that's actually right. Let me do it wrong at first. All right, so if it's not this way, it's the other way. The 4 needs to go with the 3, it turns out, but you find out why. Check the middle, right? The 2 inner, the 2 outer. The inner, outer, that's the middle, the oi. Is this working out? So the 2 inner. Right, we're trying to get the middle, which is no pluses or minuses yet. The 2 middle is 12C. The 2 outer is, what's that, 30C. And so bring down, the middle is supposed to be minus 39C. Can 12 and 30 make that? No. 12 and 30 don't make 39. So it's not right. What do? Switch the order on the back too. You with me? So switch the order. Instead of 4 and 5, try 5 and 4. And then do the middle stuff again. So, right? Everybody seen this? So the 2 inner is 15C. And the 2 outer, 4 times 6, 24C. Can they make that? Yeah, they can do it, can't they? Everybody see? Now I put the signs in. See, notice, everything's been multiply, and there's been no signs anywhere. At the very end, I put in the signs, and I think about add, subtract. What do you got to do with 15 and 24 to make negative 39? Both negative, right? If you lose $15, you lose 24, you've lost 39. Good? Both negative. By the way, that does make plus 20 at the back. Remember, because you got to multiply to be the number at the back. Negative times negative does make the plus 20. It's all perfect. It's exactly right. This is the right answer. If you FOILed that all out, you would go back to this. It's true. Is that okay? And again, you could switch. You could have the 3C minus 4 coming first, right? You can always move the entire parentheses. But the 3C and the minus 4 have to go together wherever they are. And the 6C and the minus 5 have to go together wherever they are.
Oh, if it was, okay.
That makes sense? Right, so you could have, I'll say, or, I don't know where to write it, I'm out of room. Or you could have C with 3C minus 4 and 6C minus 5. That's the same answer. Like that. We good on that? This making sense? So see how we pick the pairs that are closest together? Those are usually the ones that work, right? 6 and 3 are only 3 apart, 2 and 9 are 7 apart, further apart. So it's usually the pairs. That's just how they write these problems. Now, every now and then, they'll do a 210 or a 120 or something like that. You know, but I'm just telling you that's what they do when they make these. I know these people. I mean, literally, I have known some of these people. And, you know, I remember when I graduated from Cal Poly with my master's in math. There was a buddy that graduated the same time with me, and he hung around San Luis Obispo area. I wanted to hang around, but I couldn't afford to buy a house. Anyway, super expensive there. Beautiful area by the beach. But anyway, so he hung around there, him and his wife, and my wife and I left and went somewhere else to start having kids. But I remember we go back and visit him. We had dinner with Mike one time and his wife. Went back to town and took us to dinner. And then I started teaching, and then he started solving problems for a living in new math books. Does that sound like an exciting job? So he was one of these people that writes these and solves these problems. So I remember he took us to dinner. After dinner, we went back to his little apartment, and I said, "So Mike, what are you doing? You're solving problems for new math books?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's great." He's like, "Let me show you." So he took me in his living room, and he had a desk. He's like, "I just work right here in my living room at the desk. They just mail me a new math book that somebody just published in the mail, and I just solve all like this book here. And I just solve all the problems, and I mail it back, and they send me a check. I just solve all the, he had a master's in math like I did. He just solves all the problems." I'm like, "Really? I mean, isn't that boring? You just sit there all day long and just solve the same, like 40 of the same thing, kind of like the same thing, like 45 of these in a row, He's like, "No, it's great." Well, next semester he started teaching. I think he got bored. But anyway, so I know these people. This is how they write these problems. So choose the numbers closer together. That's usually what they pick when they write these problems. All right, let's try that one. That one's maybe a little harder. I know the numbers look big. Minus 75w to the third minus 30w squared plus 72w. Okay. It's a tricky one. So first step, there's a GCF there, right? So do that careful. There's something you got to take out that's in common to all those. I don't know why it keeps going off and on. It's flickering, having trouble today. Anyway, what's in common? What goes into all those numbers?
W.
Well, yeah, they have a W. What number, though?
3.
3. How do you know? Well, just use your calculator, but I can give you a trick if it helps. Do you know the trick for 3? Some of you probably know that, huh? What's the trick for knowing if a big old number is divisible by 3, like 72 or whatever?
If it adds the multiple of 3.
Yeah, add them up. Yeah, if you add up, there's a trick for 3. If you add up 7 and 2, what do you get? 7 plus 2 is 9. 3 goes into 9, as you know. So 3 goes into 72. That doesn't work. Well, it works for 9 as well. That trick works for 3 and 9. Doesn't work for any other numbers. So 3 and 2, 3 goes into 30, right? 3 times 10. How about 75? Well, yeah, 3/4 is 75 cents, right? So 3, so you know from that trick, 3 goes into all those numbers, doesn't it? So pull a 3. And what do you do when the front's negative? Take it out. So you got to take out negative 3w. That's what you should put in the front there. So whenever the front is negative, we take out the negative, don't we? And 3 goes in and W. So do that. That'll change all the signs on the inside. Use your calculator to find the new numbers. Then after that, go to the 2 parentheses. Okay, so this is 25w squared. Good so far. Minus 3w times, that's minus 75. The next one is what? Plus 10W, because if you multiplied, that would be right. And the last one is minus, what is it? Divide that by 3. 24, thank you. 24, because, yeah, right, good. Everybody getting to there okay? And really, on the multiple choice test, week after next, you would look down at the option first and you'd see minus 3W in front of a couple of them. You know what I mean? Use that to your advantage. This is the test where you should look at the options. We'll take it from there. So now do the FOIL thing on what remains. So front times front. I'm racing ahead, you good? So front times front, 5W, 5W. Last times last to make 24, 4 and 6. It really doesn't matter what order because they're both just with a 5W. So it'll be the same either way. So now, no signs yet. Let's try the OI, the OI. The two inner, the two outer, the two inner make 20W. The two outer make 30W, right? 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 6 is 30. How can they make the middle term of plus 10? Well, remember how it works. The sign in the middle, plus, goes on the bigger, goes on the 30. So minus 20 plus 30 is plus 10, huh? So this sign, the top sign always goes to the left parenthesis, and the bottom goes to the back. So there we go. So here's the answer. Question?
Yeah, so you know how you said the minus always goes to the lower number, right?
No. The sign in the middle goes to the bigger. So the sign, whatever sign is here in the middle will always go to, which of these is bigger, 30 or 20? 30 is bigger. So whatever sign, whether it's plus or minus, whatever sign is in the middle will always go to whichever number down here is bigger. Does that make sense? So whatever sign in the middle, put it on the bigger, automatically. That's always true. Yeah.
Okay, so I took the 6, the 5, and the 4, the 5, and I got the same answer.
Like what exactly do you have?
I have negative 3W, and then in parentheses 5W plus 6, and 5W minus 4.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm sorry, I'm not thinking. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because yours is just switching the parentheses. So remember, we can always switch the parentheses. Yeah, that's totally okay. That's not a coincidence. That'll always be true. So yes, I'll just say or. You're totally right. Your answer is good too. 5W minus 4. Yeah, you can always move the entire parenthesis. You can't, but you can't fiddle with the little parts in the parenthesis. That's what I mean by that. But yeah, that's the same answer. That's good. You can always move the entire parenthesis. Good. Okay, so this one is 20 s squared. I wish they wouldn't use s's. Minus 41 SR. My s's look like 5s. Plus 20 r squared. Okay. So try that one. What's the first step on every factoring problem? Yeah, GCF, yeah, which is usually not there, but you got to keep looking for it. So ask yourself if there's something in common. If there is, you got to do the one big parenthesis step. If not, go right on to the two.
Would you reorder or no?
Oh, good question. Yeah, no reordering on this one. Yeah, I could see where it'd be confusing though, because it looks like, well, shouldn't r squared be ahead of the r? No, yeah, really good. I'm glad you brought that up. Really excellent question. What it is when there's two letters, like that's what's tricky on this one, two letters, you just go highest to lowest for one letter at a time. So for example, like focus on S. S squared, that's the highest S term. Regular S, not even looking at R right now. I'm just thinking about S. S squared, regular S, no S. Good ordering. See what I mean? You just follow highest to lowest for one letter. So I won't even pay attention to R. Now let me just leave it at that. So that's highest to lowest for S, so it's good. No reordering needed.
I didn't see the R.
So is there anything in common? No. They don't all have an S. The back one doesn't have an S. They don't all have an R. The front one doesn't have an R. There's no number. You can try to calculate. There's no number. Nothing goes to 41, I don't think. So nope. Go right to the two parentheses.
Thank you.
Now remember, when you do the parentheses, there's going to be S's in the left of each parenthesis, because we have S squared on the left, and we have R squared on the right. So guess what that means about the parentheses? There's going to be an R in the right of each parenthesis. Other than that, just do the numbers. Does that make sense? S squared's on the left, S is in the left, R squared on the right, R is in the right. And then just do the numbers. Feel free to check with those nearby if you got it.
Once you get to 14, it's review.
What is it?
Okay,
so we're almost there.
Yeah. Factoring is the beta for my testing.
Oh,
It
really?
just takes too long. But on the test, it's really easy because you just go through all the answers and refactor them.
You can do that.
Yeah.
You can do some of that.
If it's not there, it's none of the above.
20. What times what is 20? 4 and 5. I'll put the 5 first, then the 4, but you could go the other way. Doesn't really matter. Order in the first two doesn't matter. 5 times 4. It's probably 5 and 4, not 2 and 10, right? Okay, now jump to the last. 20. What times what is 20? 5 and 4 again. Now, remember what we learned about there's never going to be two numbers in the same parenthesis that have anything in common? Like I could never put a 10 here or a 15 because 5 goes into both of those, right? You're never going to have two numbers in the same parenthesis that have anything in common. So, of course, I can't put a 5 here. No way. You're not going to have two 5s in the same parenthesis. Why not? Because then you could factor it out in common. Well, so what? Well, if there was anything in common, I would have seen it on step 1. Right? I look for the commonness in step 1. It can't be showing up later. So, no, there's not going to be a 5 there. So if it is 4 and 5, it's got to be 4 here and 5 there. Then they'll have nothing in common. That's the only way it could fly. And that's actually going to be right, isn't it? Everybody see that? So now, no signs yet, but let's check the middle OI thing. So the 2 inner, the 2 outer, the 2 middle make 16 RS. The 2 outer make 25 RS. Right, it's all multiply. Everything's multiply. And now, can they make the middle minus 41 RS, SR, whatever, same thing? Yeah, they can if they're both negative, huh? Check it on your calculator if you're not sure. But yeah, 16 and 25 add to be 41. Both negative, make a big negative, right? So that's it. They're both negative. And by the way, you can double check. Negative 4 times negative 5 do make plus 20. Remember, you got to multiply to be that number at the back. It's right. It's all good. This is the right answer. Again, you could switch it. You could have 4S coming first. You could have, the parentheses switched, and it's the same answer. I'll say or that one. Both are right. Is that good? Just getting easier? Not too bad? This is the happy test. This is the one everybody aces. Okay, so a to the 6th minus 4a cubed minus 12. Try that one. So the first question on every factoring problem, what's in common to all the terms? Nothing, right? Nothing. So no one big parenthesis step. Go right to the 2. Right to the 2. FOIL. So front times front to be front. What times what's a to the 6th? Yeah, powers add. Powers add, huh? Remember that? So yeah, it's a to the 3rd, a to the 3rd. Remember powers add? Yeah. When you multiply things, powers add, right? So yeah, that's right. And then last times last to be 12. Well, it's got to be 3 and 4. Actually, it's not, is it? Yeah, it's going to be 6 and 2, but I'll pretend I don't know that right now. All right, so suppose you write down 3 and 4. You think maybe it's 3 and 4. Then you try the middle, the 2 inner, the 2 outer. You'd get 3a cubed and 4a cubed, and you want them to make in the middle minus 4a cubed. No way. 3 and 4 don't make minus 4. So then you go, oh, okay, what if I switch them? No, switching them is not going to help because they're both with just a simple a cubed. They're not with different things. So it's not going to make any difference to switch them. So then you go, oh, hey, what else makes 12? Well, 2 and 6. So every now and then, they do pick the pair that's not closest. This is one of those cases, right? They didn't go with 3, 4. They went with 2, 6. So let's see that work. So 2a cubed and 6a cubed. Can that make negative 4? Absolutely. How do the signs always? Now, the signs are always the same story. What is that story? Sign in the middle, whatever sign's in the middle, plus, minus, whatever, sign in the middle goes to the bigger number. So which one of these is bigger, 2 or 6? 6. So the sign in the middle goes straight to him. Boom. He's minus 6. The other one's plus 2. Plus 2 minus 6 indeed is minus 4. That's right. And then how do you get him up into the parentheses? The top one always goes left, doesn't it? And the bottom goes back. And there we go. Not good? Have you got this down? I'm going to leave this section.